All right, let's dive into something that's happening inside you right now, this very second, that you've probably never even thought about. We're talking about how your body handles protein, and more specifically, its brilliant built-in plan for dealing with some pretty toxic waste. It's fascinating stuff, so let's get into it.
So we all hear about protein for building muscle, right? But what about the protein from that steak or that smoothie that isn't going straight to your biceps? Your body can't just store it like fat or carbs. It has to be processed. And that's really where our story begins.
Yep, you heard that right. When your body breaks down those building blocks of protein, the amino acids, it releases ammonia. And let me be clear, ammonia is seriously bad news for your cells, especially your brain cells. So right off the bat, your body has this huge problem it has to solve constantly. How do we get rid of this poison before it does real damage?
Okay, so the first part of the solution is this really elegant collection system. Before your body can actually dispose of the toxic stuff, it has to gather it all up from different places. It's like a citywide cleanup. And it does it with a clever little process I like to call the amino group shuffle.
The official name for this shuffle is transamination, but honestly, the best way to think about it is like a molecular shell game. The body takes the toxic part, that amino group, from one molecule and just swaps it onto another one, a keto acid. It's a clean, direct transfer. No fuss.
So let's look at the key details here. This all happens in the main part of your cells, the cytoplasm. And pretty much all of the different amino acids get in on the action. The star of the show is this enzyme, aminotransferase. Its entire job is to funnel all these toxic amino groups from all over the place onto one single molecule, glutamates. Think of glutamate as the designated garbage bag. It makes transport and disposal way easier. And here's where this gets super practical for your health. The two main enzymes that do this work, AST and ALT, are supposed to stay inside your cells. So when a doctor does a blood test and sees high levels of them floating around in your bloodstream, it's a massive red flag. It's basically a cellular fire alarm, telling us that liver cells might be damaged and spilling their guts out.
Okay, so we've collected all the toxic nitrogen onto our glutamate garbage bag. Now what? Well, now we head to the next stage, taking that waste to the central detox factory, which is mainly in your liver and kidneys, to neutralize it for good.
Now, before we hit that final step, it's really important to get this distinction straight. Transamination, which we just talked about, simply transfers the amino group. It's a swap. But deamination is different. Its goal is to remove the group completely, ripping it off as free ammonia. And check out the location difference. Deamination happens inside the mitochondria, the cell's powerhouse, where that super toxic ammonia can be handled safely. It's a really smart division of labor.
So here's the bottom line. We've now isolated the ammonia, but it's still dangerous. It's like we've backed the villain into a corner, but they're not disarmed yet. For that, we need the hero of our story, the urea cycle. This is the metabolic pathway designed specifically to turn that toxic ammonia into something completely harmless.
Okay, I know these cycle diagrams can look intimidating, but let's just break it down into 5 simple steps. First, ammonia and carbon dioxide get joined together. Then, a molecule called ornithine jumps in. After that, we get a second nitrogen atom donated from another amino acid. Then there's a quick rearrangement, and finally, the big moment. A molecule called arginine gets snipped, releasing harmless urea, and, this is the cool part, remaking the ornithine from step 2 so the whole cycle can start right over again. It's a perfect self-sustaining loop. And this is why the urea cycle is just such a masterpiece of biology. It doesn't just solve one problem. It takes care of 2 waste products at once, ammonia and CO2. On top of that, it actually creates a useful amino acid, arginine, in the process. And it even plugs directly into the body's main energy-producing engine, the TCA cycle. It's just efficiency on a whole other level. So this whole system is running all the time to manage the nitrogen from our food. But how can we tell if it's doing a good job? Well, we can actually keep a kind of scorecard, and it's called nitrogen balance. Let's take a look. Get this. On an average day, a healthy adult eats and excretes somewhere between 12 and 16 grams of nitrogen. When the amount you take in equals the amount you get rid of, you're in what we call nitrogen balance. Everything's running smoothly. But what if those numbers aren't equal? Well, if you have a positive balance, meaning you're keeping more nitrogen than you're getting rid of, that's usually a good sign. It means your body is building new tissue. Think about growing kids or pregnant women. On the flip side, a negative balance is a warning sign. It means you're losing more nitrogen than you're taking in, which suggests the body is breaking down its own muscle for fuel. You see this in cases of starvation or really severe illness.
We've seen how elegant and absolutely essential this system is, but what happens when it breaks? The consequences can be just devastating, and they really shine a light on how vital these silent, invisible pathways are for our health.
I mean, just imagine it for a second. This whole complex machine we've been talking about. What if just one single gear was faulty right from day one? A tiny genetic error in one enzyme can bring a huge part of this detox system to a screeching halt.
A classic real-world example of this is a condition called phenylketonuria, or PKU. It's an inherited disorder where the specific enzyme that's supposed to process the amino acid phenylalanine is broken. So the body can't process it, and it just builds up and up, along with other toxic stuff.
And this isn't just some textbook curiosity. PKU affects about 1 in every 15,000 newborns. That's common enough that screening for it right after birth is a standard procedure in most developed countries.
Because if it's left untreated, the consequences of that one broken enzyme are just awful. The toxic buildup causes severe, irreversible brain damage and seizures. And since the body can't make tyrosine properly, which is a building block for melanin, it also leads to very fair skin and light hair. The body is literally being poisoned from the inside by one of its own nutrients. But here is the incredible part, the good news. Because we understand this biochemical pathway so well, we have a really effective treatment. By diagnosing PKU at birth and putting that child on a special diet that's super low in phenylalanine, almost all of the devastating damage can be prevented. It's a true victory for modern medicine, and it's all thanks to understanding the very processes we've just talked about. So the next time you eat a meal, maybe take a second to appreciate the silent, sophisticated detox program running inside you. It's just one of countless invisible marvels of engineering that are keeping you alive and healthy every single day. It really makes you wonder, what other incredible processes are humming away inside you right now, without you even having a clue? Thanks for joining me.